Clear out the voice, start the podcast recording, and we are
hitting the ground
live.
running. Here we go.
Oh, you're hitting the ground running.
That's right. Taking the bull by the horns. Let's do this.
Oh, all right. Just give me a second. I got to get my ducks in a row here.
Oh. I think we're on the same wavelength right now, aren't we?
So far, we've been looking at this and took a deep dive into this topic. So we're, I feel like I'm ready. I mean, some of it's a little bit of low-hanging fruit, but I think we can do a little bit better than that.
Yeah, I think we should just take a shot in the dark and get this going.
We can take a shot in the dark. I love when we have to punt when we're doing these podcast recordings, but for the most part, we could put a pin in it.
I think we were really good at putting like our nose to the grindstone, and this topic is a tough nut to crack. So
it really is. It really is. We had so much to talk about. We had to trim the fat, but I think it's in our wheelhouse.
It's in our ballpark.
You're crushing it.
Oh. We might be beating this like a dead horse. Keep your eye on the ball here, Drew.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I just want you to buy in.
We need to raise the bar on our podcast here.
I just don't have the bandwidth to be able to do that right now.
Let's drill down and focus on here. I'm getting this done.
Just as long as we break down your silo.
From conversations to the natural world to complete silence, so many of us focus on what's next rather than what is happening now. I'm Listening is a podcast that dissects the importance of listening.
I'm Drew Richmond.
And I'm Brant Christofferson.
And this is I'm Listening, a podcast simply about the skill of listening. Do you think anybody's still listening?
No, I don't think so. Oh my gosh.
It's so cringy, but it's so great.
Oh man. How many of these do you use every day, Drew?
All of them.
All of them.
These idioms, what'd you call me? These idioms.
They're an 800-pound gorilla in the room is what they are.
Brant, hold that thought. Let's circle back to it later on.
I'll put a pin in it.
They're used all the time.
Oh,
constantly.
So much that it just can drive us crazy. But we still use them.
We can't stop using them. Why? Why can't we stop using them?
Oh, that's a great question, and I think we should dive into that today.
No, I'm not going to dive into this, Brant. I'm not diving into this today.
We're going to get right down in the weeds and really explore this topic.
We have to keep this at the 30,000 foot level so that we can keep perspective before. Stop it. This is not okay. We don't have to go. There's no fucking box. We don't have to think outside of it. Who sits there? Did somebody sit there for decades and go, we've been thinking inside the box? I don't even know what that means. What do you even mean by that? But at what point do we have to start thinking outside of it? Just think about it. There's no boxes. I don't know. What are you trying to say? Say it. Be creative.
I think...
Be creative. Hey, let's think outside the box here, people, and let's circle back and tune into that. It's like, no. We need to be creative right now. We need to be creative. Let's get those creative juices flowing.
I think it's easier sometimes to just say, let's think out of the box, because we know what that phrase implies, versus trying to describe, hey, folks, let's think up some new ideas, because we need some new ideas, creative ideas that are maybe non-traditional in shape, that might not be normally inside of the walls, the four walls that we're in.
Are you still talking?
That's why we think outside the box, Drew.
Oh my God. All right, let's not reinvent the wheel. We need to do a podcast, and we need to figure this out. So we're going to explore the world of idioms,
yes,
metaphors, similes, and jargon.
Yeah, this is all
in
jargon.
This episode. The name of the podcast is I'm Listening.
Mm-hmm.
what the hell does this have to do with listening? Besides, I wasn't doing that anymore after your fourth idiom trying to explain something to me.
Okay, there's the overuse of these, but by... Oh my gosh, I'm just tripping on my tongue now.
Stop it. Stop it.
Okay. Why are these important? Because they move beyond the literal meaning to create a more expressive and vivid form of communication. We are able to get our message across, our point across, convey how we're feeling or what we're doing more so than we are by just giving the literal statement. If I said to you, Drew, I've just been feeling really busy today, that's one thing. But if I said, Drew, I'm just barely keeping my head above water, it sends a different message.
Yeah, I hear it.
Okay.
I see it.
Okay.
I understand where you are coming from. Because I think you say if you're really, really busy, okay, well, I was really busy too.
Yeah.
If I'm barely keeping my head above water, I can see that you're really struggling.
Yes.
You're saying the same thing, but I visualize maybe a little bit more of what you're talking about because you're using a descriptive manner in which you're explaining it.
Yes.
I get that.
Okay.
I get why they exist. Why do people cringe when your first sentence of your email says, just circling back?
Because it's overused.
Why? What happened? Nobody said, I'm just circling back, 10 years ago? Nobody said that.
Sure.
Everybody says it now, and it's cringy. I won't respond to the email that says I'm just circling back because you're annoying. Why is that? Because it got overused. Why is that? Because
why did it get overused? Because it was effective. It came across, it was new, it stuck a little bit too much.
A well-placed idiom, a well-used metaphor or simile can be very effective. If that's the only language that you speak in, it gets whitewashed. See what it becomes. Yeah. But you knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
It becomes overused. It becomes annoying. And I don't really want to listen to it anymore.
Sure. All right. Let's not beat a dead horse here and kind of dive into what these are and why they exist. I need to just pause for a minute here. I'm my brain is.
So it was super easy for us to jump into this podcast using them. I challenge us for 5 minutes to not use any.
All right. I'm going to try.
And if you hear one, you gotta call it out.
Okay. So
do you accept my challenge?
I accept your measly challenge.
All right, ready to go.
All right.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone.
Hey, we're back. So we're talking jargon. We're talking metaphors, idioms, and similes. I almost used one. Do you want to take a stab at it? Do you want to help? Do you want to start by defining or describing one of these terms?
Well, that was a boring way to ask.
Just killing me. I don't know if that's one or not. It is.
All right. You're doing great so far, Brad. A metaphor.
Okay.
Stating that one thing is something else, but they are unlike each other.
Got it.
This is the storm we're experiencing right now is a beast.
So it's not really a beast, but
It's not really a beast.
So we're kind of replacing how the intensity of the storm with the word beast to describe the storm.
Yep.
Cool.
That athlete is a machine.
Yeah.
They're not a machine, but it's describing the athlete like a machine.
Got it. They are
Metaphor.
as a machine. Metaphor. Okay.
Metaphor. Next, an idiom.
What'd you call me?
Exactly. Is a set phrase with a set meaning.
It's a lot of that office jargon, right? We were just using
The office jargon. So all of those office things that circling back and run it up the flagpole and let's touch base later and blah, 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 blah. That's in my wheelhouse. Those are idioms.
Because they're common phrases that we are set, and we kind of know what they mean within our culture.
Correct. A simile is a comparison using things like or as. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. It is like something.
So it's different than a metaphor, where a metaphor would be like, life is a box of chocolates.
Correct.
We're saying life
Correct.
is
It
like
can get
a
a little
box
bit
of chocolates.
Yeah, it can get a little bit confusing, but it's simple. So he is like a ray of sunshine. Is that a simile? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
that'd be a simile. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a simile. Jargon. You just said the word office jargon. Jargon is, to break that down a little bit, that's just a common language utilized at work or at school, or something that within that group of people, they understand that piece.
Yeah.
So you might have the way that you talk with each other, or way things are defined, or way things are described within your office space or in your workspace. That's it's a common language within a smaller group of people. That's jargon. Okay, so here's a question.
Yeah.
Are they effective?
Yeah, I think so.
Is utilizing a metaphor or an idiom or a simile, is that an effective tool? Is that an effective tool to utilize when communicating something?
Yes, I think it's very effective because, like we were saying before, this helps maybe convey a more complex idea or situation that describing it in general doesn't do it justice, whereas comparing it to something else or calling it something else will give it the description that helps it fit.
Yeah, it helps it.
Yeah.
So you can sit there, and if you know the movie Forrest Gump, what's the most famous line out of that movie? And it's him sitting on the bench saying, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. That makes a lot of sense to me. That's a great way to describe something. Because he could have also said, life is very complicated. You never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Meh.
So
but the fact that it was compared to this thing, and if you've ever had a box of chocolates in your life, you know exactly what he's talking about. You understand that.
Yeah. It's kind of poetic in a sense too, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a creativity to it where you're like, okay, yeah, I get this. That's a fun comparison.
Yes. Looking outside the window right now, it's raining cats and dogs.
You have dogs and cats falling out of the sky.
No. It's just a heavy rain, heavy rain right now. It's a heavy rain. I could say it's a heavy rain outside right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's raining cats and dogs. Oh, really bad. Really bad there.
Yeah.
I understand that it's really, really bad instead of just a heavy rain.
It's almost, it's kind of an exaggeration in a way too, right? Where we're just really, I don't know, making it seem so ridiculous that it's like, okay, that is so intense or so out there that it can't possibly be that bad, but I still understand kind of what the meaning of it is.
So it's an effective tool.
Yeah.
Is it annoying?
It can be, but I mean, we just found ourselves not even being able to have a discussion without bringing these topics into our conversation. Not even thinking about it, we are using them because they are an effective way to communicate.
Here's one for you. This is one I hear all the time. Hey, how's it going? Living the dream.
Oh yeah.
Is that a metaphor? That's kind of an idiom, right?
An idiom.
It's like, yeah, I'm living the dream.
A common phrase that we use.
It's a common phrase. Drives me nuts. Nobody knows what that means. Nobody
yeah.
No, you're not. That's just your knee jerk. That's annoying because you use it all the time.
I think you're kind of getting into maybe some of the drawbacks of this too, right? Is that the overuse of it loses its effectiveness. Yes.
That's when it gets annoying, is when it's used constantly. It's the classic boss firing these things out of here. We got to flesh this out. We got to get our ducks in a row. If it's constantly utilized, super annoying.
Yeah.
Super annoying. Just tell me what you're thinking. So there has to be a balance is what we're saying. You have to be able to balance these and utilize them in the right way when it's most effective, and not just having it be part of your jargon that is now today being made fun of all of the time, and people don't want to be a part of it.
I think we use it a lot or overuse it because it's safe to use. It's familiar. It's been tested. It's been used.
Yeah.
We'll go back to this example of like, if I'm the boss and and I'm like, oh man, Drew, he made a mistake. He messed up. I might soften the blow by saying, hey, let's chalk that up to experience. And here's the thing is like, let's chalk what up to experience? Like I'm like, I need to communicate with Drew that he made a mistake, but I don't want it to come across as me being mean or rude. So I'm going to soften it, but maybe too much to where it's vague and it lacks concisiveness. And I'm letting you know that something bad happened, but I'm trying to, I think that's maybe part of it too, is like there is that passive aggressive tendency to a lot of these as well.
Yeah.
Just a friendly reminder. What I think I heard you say.
Okay. So I think we're onto something here. You've got, because this is the way that people talk. We don't have a podcast about talking. We have a podcast about listening. So I think we can dissect that in two different ways. When people are throwing these at you constantly, specifically we're talking, the best example is this corporate office or whatever office. And these things are just being fired around everywhere. It's super annoying. I'm not going to listen to you anymore because you're not being an effective person communicating to me. So that's one sense. Like I'm not listening to you anymore. In the other sense of if you are the one utilizing this, you got to get better. You have to be better at utilizing these because they are effective.
Yeah.
But you can't be annoying with them. And you have to be able to recognize that if you want to get your point across.
Don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
Don't run it up the flagpole. I don't care about low-hanging fruit, right? Just say, let's knock out some of the easier ones right now. You don't have to talk to me about fruit. And then we'll get into more complex situations down the road.
Down the road. I'm that person. I use idioms in common language all day long. Do you ever get called out on it?
No.
Okay, what does it do for you?
Should I?
I don't know. Do people if you use it too much, my concern would be that people would be like rolling their eyes at you. Like, oh no, this guy again. Is that happening?
Well, that's what this podcast is making me do. This podcast is giving me a complex.
Yeah.
Because when we started talking about this subject, we were laughing so hard trying to figure out how to not use them.
Yeah.
It was impossible because it's such a part of our dialogue.
It is such a big part of our dialogue. And I think that's part of why we're talking about it, is not to say don't use them, but to be mindful in how we're using them, because they do have impact. They do have power. They can be effective when used in the right way. It's important to think about it because it helps us in how we are heard, and how we are being listened to, and how we are connecting with other people.
All right. One of my other questions I have is, where did they come from? What's the history behind these things? I found an article that talked about 2,500 years ago in the time of Aristotle.
Okay. So we're going back a couple of years.
Right. And this is more specifically to metaphors. We're talking a couple thousand years ago, where there was some evidence of this, at least in some of these different sources that I found. They've been around for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the metaphoric sense, if you will, I think that gives, in the realms of poetry, writings, things of that nature, it gives a little bit more substance behind it. My point is they've been around a really, really long time. From there, we've now introduced them into the corporate world. The corporate world globbed onto them and utilizes them too much. There's no balance. And then we incorporate it into our general language. Super annoying.
We keep going back to the workplace, because in the workplace, I think of where we are trying to influence something. We are trying to show our worth, that we are of value, maybe get a promotion, or get recognized. So we use these more to try to be that creative person to really get out there. I mean, they are effective because they shape thinking, right? They don't just describe what we're doing. They shape how that thought is happening. Like if I'm calling crime a virus, that makes people more likely to support preventative measures. If I call it a beast, that's going to make maybe people favor punishment more. So I can be very influential in how I am framing a situation based on the words that I use.
And maybe that idea of getting some emotion across or some emphasis across, I hear where you're coming from.
Yeah, and it can be more persuasive than like facts too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
This economy is a sinking ship. Like there's no fact in that, but man, it conveys this persuasive emotion in us that we're like, oh, I should listen. Maybe this should be something I pay attention to more.
Like the economy is on a downturn. Oh,
what's a downturn?
Don't know what okay, so is it bad or is it not bad? The economy is a sinking ship.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what that is. That's bad. I now understand what you're saying in a much better way.
Yeah.
In a much better way.
It could be more precise than literal language.
Yeah. All right. So what do we do with this? This is a podcast about listening, Brant. I don't want to listen to people in my office talk to me about drilling down, about sitting at a 30,000 foot level, about allowing ourselves to get into the weeds. I use that one all the time. Putting this on the back burner, biting the bullet, or raising the bar.
Yeah.
However, I use those all of the time. What do we do? I need your sage advice. What do we do? Just keep going? Just keep using them?
No. Yes. No. What? Keep using them.
You want to keep using them?
I'm going to. Just don't overdo it.
Don't overdo it. Be more creative by not utilizing them, or be more creative and practice utilizing them to get your point across so that you can use it so that people will listen to you. Is that what we're getting out of this one?
Yeah, I think it is. It's also just taking a minute to think before you try to convey that message. It is helpful in maybe not saying the wrong thing or the overused phrase.
We didn't get into that one at all. Using the wrong one at the wrong time is also one of my favorite things.
The right tool at the wrong time. Well, you didn't get into mixed metaphors either.
Oh, what's a mixed metaphor?
It's not rocket surgery. It's one of your favorites, isn't it?
It is. And I thought I made it up until I think one day you gave me a t-shirt. I still have that t-shirt.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah. Does the Pope shit in the woods?
Too many cooks broke the camel's back.
Those aren't metaphors. Are those metaphors? I don't know.
When the going gets tough, the early bird gets the worm. Just do that. Just mess them all up.
Are those metaphors?
Yeah, it's when you take
is too many cooks in the kitchen a metaphor?
It's an idiom because it's a common phrase, but it is a metaphor. And when you mix them together, it'd be a mixed metaphor.
Do those have a time and place?
I like to use them only just to get people to stop talking and ignore me and go away. This guy's nuts. Boy. He does not know what he's talking about, and I'm going to leave now. I wouldn't recommend that. Making things awkward to scare people away is probably not a very professional tactic and will not really get you friends. But it's funny.
So I just Googled mixed metaphor. A mixed metaphor combines two or more incompatible metaphors, often resulting in a humorous or illogical phrase such as, "He hit the nail on the head with his fist of fury."
What the hell does that mean?
I got more examples for you. Do you want to hear them? Yes, you do.
Of course.
We were flying through a sea of success. This is great. This I'm going to start using more. I want to start using just for people's reactions. He seemed scary, but he was all bark with no place to go.
It sounds like you might be drunk.
When the going gets tough, the early bird gets the worm.
I was going off a list with those too. Yeah.
I'm using that one.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Not the sharpest bulb in the box.
Yes.
We'll burn that bridge when we come to it. The ball's in your camp now, Drew. Yeah.
This has got to stop. This is Brant. Brant, give me your takeaway on this one.
Well, I'm going to put all my eggs in one basket case, and I need to stop.
No, please don't.
This hurts my brain. It hurts.
This is the best podcast we've ever put together. I sometimes I feel like the subjects that we bring together are like we could really do great things and change the world. I feel like this is not one of them.
Oh, no.
But I also feel that it's an important subject to talk about. Like, I think this is important.
It is. I think
we
it is
didn't
too.
do shit, but this is important to talk about.
Yes, I agree. I think it's important to talk about because I can't even talk anymore. I'm just like laughing.
What's your takeaway? Why is this important?
Because words matter, and how you're being listened to can change based on what words or phrases or jargon or idioms or similes or metaphors that you are using, overusing, not using, or mixing up.
Words matter. Choose them wisely.
Yes.
I agree with that takeaway.
What's your takeaway here, Drew?
Do I need to change? I think I have a problem, Brant.
If you feel like you have a problem, then you probably have a problem.
I feel like I have a problem. Let's not make mountains out of molehills here, people. Brant, there's thousands of them.
Yeah.
And they're common language. And they're super annoying.
They are annoying.
Oh, shit. Well, I guess all I have to say is I'm going to turn this into an action item. I'm going to really drill down deep and try to figure out.
This is going to be totally in your wheelhouse.
I'm going to turn this ship around. I feel that I've got a long journey ahead. It's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel on this one, Brant. I really do. But I'm going to kick the can down the road. I'm going to throw some of these things and some of these ideas at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
And
this is music to my ears, Drew.
Really? Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It really is a game changer for me. And
keep your eye on the ball, man.
just a hard stop on what I've been doing. I don't know. I'm going to have to take this offline. I'm going to have to really just pivot at this point.
Ooh.
And make some changes.
It's an uphill battle.
I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, and this is definitely not a hill I'm going to die on, but I am going to think outside the box, and I'm going to do everything I can to make this happen. I think I can crush it.
Just don't go down any rabbit holes, and I think you'll be able to ride this roller coaster.
Just get me off of this sinking ship. Well, as painful as we made this one, it's exactly what it is. Because that sentence, my takeaway, is how people like me talk all of the time.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow, but I think we can do it.
Brant, starting tomorrow, we hit the ground running.
Oh, man.
I just don't want to have my head in the clouds.
We just might need to burn this episode.
Speaking of putting out fires, Brant, it's been great talking to you.
Oh, that's the way the cookie bounces.
Okay. Well, Brant, I got nothing. I'm done now.
I'm so done.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
This is best podcast ever.
Oh,
bye, Brant.
Bye.
In the description of this podcast, you will find more information and a list of any of the sources that we used.
This podcast is created and produced by Drew Richmond and Brant Christofferson. Editing by me, and the I'm Listening theme music by Drew.
That's me.
That's you.
Brant, I will talk to you later, my friend.
We'll see you next time.
Yeehaw.
Have a good one, Drew.
Bye, Brant.